Today, stocks went up, stocks came down, and the BLS dropped a major bombshell on us. However, here in just a few moments, we're going to get Nvidia's earnings. Is it about to make the markets rally up, or is this going to be the catalyst for another leg lower in the stock market? Now, we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board today. The Dow was up 47 points. The Nasdaq was up 131 points. S&P 500 up 24 points, with the Russell 2000 being down 0.04. But when we come over and look at advancing issues versus declining, we had more issues declining on the day, 57.2. Then when we come over and look at the sectors across the board, notice the leader out there. It was technology, and it's really no surprise given the fact that Nvidia is about to come out with earnings. Well, if we come over real quick and we take a look at a chart of Nvidia, what is Nvidia doing? Well, today we had a little bit of a bounce up, filling the gap from just a few days back. And then we come over and look at Google. Google early on, rocket ship on the way up. Look at that candle. It's a shooting star type of candle, and it's at the perfect location. Top number 1, top number 2, top number 3, top number 4. We break above it, and now we come back down below it. So could this be a look above failure, and we're about to come substantially lower? Well, as we come over and look at the fear and greed index, we are well into extreme fear. Today we closed out with a reading of 12. Well, today at 2 p.m., we had the Fed minutes come out, and they show strongly different views over whether to cut interest rates in December. And we can even see now that the probabilities of a rate cut has actually dropped. Now there's a 66.2% chance that the Fed will not be cutting rates at the next FOMC meeting, which will be out in 20 days. And we look at what was inside the FOMC meeting minutes. FOMC meeting minutes expose fractured Fed. Many see no tariff inflation, several fear disorderly drop in stocks. Now, this is something that should be very, very concerning, that they're fearing disorderly drop in stocks at a time where we see the fear and greed index has been screaming to the downside over an extreme fear. And then we even come over and we look at the volatility index. The VIX today was only down 0.81, which was 3.28%. But if we look at this on a 5-minute chart, notice early on in the morning, we saw the VIX just dropping off a cliff, come all the way back up. I think the VIX was actually up at this point right here, only to finish kind of in the middle of that afternoon range. And it's really not any surprise that the VIX stopped where it did today on the move up, because notice we have a lot of gamma exposure right up here at the $25 strike price. And you can see today, where was the high? Right up there at 24.79. Now, this is where it could be a little bit dicey out here. If indeed the VIX can get above that 25 strike price, look at where the next gamma exposure is, all the way up here at 30. Now, it would make logical sense for the VIX to start to retrace back down from that 25. But for me, this could be a line in the sand. This could be where we get that waterfall effect if we see the VIX start trading above that $25 strike price. Then today, we also learned the BLS cancels October jobs report, pushes back November jobs report release date. And what it basically goes on to say is the BLS will not publish its monthly employment situation jobs report for October. Now, why is that? Is that because the jobs report would have been fantastic out there, showing that there's no slowdown in the economy? We are nowhere near close to recession. I think you guys can fill in the blank. Absolutely not. Anybody that thinks that would be fooling themselves. We know the labor market has been weakening. But what is kind of funny out here, we look at the news out here for tomorrow, we have the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, but we do have a non-farm employment number set to be released along with the unemployment rate. And we're going to see if it starts to show a decline. If we go back and we open this up a bit, look at the last couple readings that we had. Right here in July, we had a reading of 147,000 new jobs. But what was funny about that is when we get the August report, it came in at 73,000, which was a drop. And look at the revision. They revised down that 147,000 jobs that was reported in July down to 14,000. And then in September, look, we did not even get to 73,000. We only came in at 22,000. Then oopsie doopsie, government is shut down, and we have had no further NFP numbers. So let me know in the comment section down below if they decide to release the NFP data for tomorrow. Do you guys think it's going to be positive out here for stocks, or do you think we're going to actually show stocks cratering even much lower? Now, let's go look at Nvidia after the bell. We can see 5-minute chart, Nvidia is not rocking and rolling yet. So that means earnings for Nvidia are not out yet. If we come over and look at who else had earnings after the bell, Palo Alto also has earnings after the bell. But what's funny is when we look at the big expected movers out there, Jack in the Box expected to move plus or minus 11%. But let's look at some of these other stocks. Wix and Target also had earnings out this morning. When we come over and look at Target stock, yikes, trying to break down below this low. Target closing down 2.77%. We come over and look at Wix. Yikes, a nasty gap lower, down 20% on this session. I guess the options markets at least were able to get their projected move of at least plus or minus 12.5%. So now it's going to all be about Nvidia moving forward. But first, let's come over and look at the dollar index. Dollar index today, nice bullish candle on the way up. Now, with the dollar index on the move up, we really want to pay attention to the yields. Yields today also starting to rise. And with the yields rising, let's come over and take a look at the precious metal gold. Gold today spiked up, but then look, we have quite the shooting star type of candle. We drop this down to the 4-hour time frame. Notice from the swing high right up here down to the swing low, gold came right up to the 50% level. Now we're starting to retrace down. So we have a much larger ABC pattern to the downside. If you map out right up here, down to the low, back up here, we have a price completion at about 37.53. However, we could also be setting up another ABC pattern at the current time. If we go to, we measure A to B, B to C for the corrected move, and we project right down here for D, that would give us a price completion of 3,883. However, for that pattern to be validated, we must take out the swing low right down here at 39.95. Now, I'll let you guys know right now, Apex's website is back up and working, and Apex has 80% off all their evaluation accounts, $40 activation fees. To take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below. Use promo code Mike at checkout. Now, for me, crude oil is quite troubling. We come over and look at crude oil down today, and notice the MACD indicator did not quite make it to the zero line, and we're already starting to come back down lower. If we were to go ahead and grab a trend line real quick, we can just connect these highs. Are they going higher or lower? We can see the trend line is sloping downward. Again, with crude oil prices being lower, the reason this concerns me is the fact lower crude oil prices usually signals a slowing down of the worldwide economies. Now, we come over and take a look at the SPY real quick today. SPY, wick on the top of the candle, small little wick on the bottom. Yesterday, we completed the first ABC pattern to the downside. However, when we start coming over and look at the options data real quick, and we look at the GEX levels, we have a lot of GEX right up here, gamma exposure at 660, but then all the way 660, we have a little bit more building now at 656, 652, 645-ish, and even all the way down here at 640. Look, we have a lot more gamma exposure to the downside versus to the upside. To the upside, 680 and possibly 700. Well, if we come over here and we look at the charts real quick, we look right up here at 680. 680 would be way on up here, and I don't think that's in the cards just yet. However, to the downside, we start breaking back below 660. That's going to open the door to some of those lower levels, and 640, if we made it all the way down there, would be right down here within a minus development area. Look at the volume profile, still looks horrible at this moment. On the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator is below the zero line. It could be in the early stages of flattening out. However, I hope that's not going to be the case just yet. I'd like to see one more flush down below these lows, completing the ABC pattern that we've been talking about when we look at the futures markets. We come over here and look at the 30-minute chart. MACD indicator does have a bullish cross, trying to make its way up towards the zero line. But notice today, right out of their gate, they ripped it on up and then they slammed it right back down. So tomorrow, this is going to be critical to me. Do we come back up into this minus development area, 665.04, and then start to turn back down? Tomorrow, if we start breaking below 660, that would put us below value area low from today. It would put us below that gamma exposure level. And then that would probably open the door to making a run, taking out the lows from the prior day down here at 655.86. Open the door to some of these lower gamma levels down below us. Now, we come over and look at the futures markets real quick on the 4-hour chart. You can see we have an A to B equals C to D pattern. Here's the A to B leg. The B to C leg is a corrected move on the way back up. And then we go ahead and we project right down here for D, and that comes in at 65.78. But something else that we mapped out today on the live stream, and let me go ahead and clear these drawings off real quick. We also have another ABC pattern within that ABC pattern. Goes something like this: A to B, B to C for the corrected move on the way up, and we project down here for D. That one is a little bit lower, coming in at 6,500, and I really like where this comes in on the composite profile, right within the minus development area. But we do want to be cautious. If you're trying to target this 6,500 price point, watch out as we start getting close towards a high volume area at about 65.21. Now, this ABC pattern would be intact unless we take out the high from today, and the larger ABC pattern is in play unless we take out the swing high up here at 67.96. Now, jumping over and taking a look at the daily volume profiles real quick, you can see we're able to take out the P point. We did that last night, and a majority of the volume was being built out kind of in the lower end of the range. Now, if we start breaking above value area high at 66.70 and a half, I kind of want to target this minus development area low volume node, 66.86. Anything above that, I would look for the market to rerun the highs from today. And let's not forget, we do have an untested point of control up here, 6756.75. But in the event we break value area high and we start coming down, I want to target the point of control. I want to target value area low. Then I want to start to target the lows from today, the lows from the prior day, and anything below the lows from the prior day. I want to turn my attention back over to the 4-hour chart and see, can we start making our way down towards those ABC patterns to the downside. Now we come over and look at the QQQs real quick. We can see wick on the top and then a little bit of a wick on the bottom. MACD indicator on the daily chart still looks horrible at this moment. But let's come over and look at some of the GEX levels real quick. And if we look at this real quick, where is a majority of the gamma exposure? You can see a lot more red down here than what we have green. Now we can see the red protrudes to the left a lot further than what the green protrudes out here to the right. And this could be problematic. If we start breaking 602, it looks like we probably want to come all the way down here towards about 590. We break 590 and we're probably going to go substantially lower. So if we look at where we closed out here today, we closed right at 599.55. So we got to be very careful. Are we about to open the door, break down below 591.60, completing the ABC pattern at 586? And I do think that we're going to come back and retest that large, which this was a Friday candle as well, retest the low of that area about 589.41. We look over here on the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator is below the zero line, not quite flattening out just yet. But on the 30-minute chart, we see we did get a bullish cross to the MACD indicator, trying to work its way back towards the zero line. But I want to caution you guys on this. If we're still hovering down around these areas and the MACD indicator gets back towards the zero line, watch out. That could be nothing more than a recharge point for another leg lower in this market. Now we come over and look at the Nasdaq futures real quick. We have multiple ABC patterns to the downside. Today on the live stream, we mapped out a new ABC pattern as well. Starting right up here from about 23,358, we pulled it right down here towards the lows at 24,370 and then back up to about a price point of 24,982.25. Now, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you subscribe. You have the bell notifications turned on for all. But in the event that we can start breaking back down below the swing low here, well, we'll be able to complete the first ABC pattern down at 24,267. The secondary ABC pattern that just started setting up today comes in at 23,996.25. So keep in mind, if you're looking for this lower ABC target, we have a high volume node at 24,163. So if you see the market rocketing down there and the market starts to hesitate around that high volume area, watch out. That could be nothing more than getting ready for the market to bounce right back up. Now, we come over, look at the daily profiles out here on the 30-minute chart. Notice we're closing within value. Now, if we break above 24,773, I want to look to target kind of this minus development area right up in here. I'm going to go ahead and zone out this entire area. That's going to be anywhere from 24,856 up here to about 24,880. Now, what's funny with Nvidia earnings just coming out is that going to push the Nasdaq right up to that minus development area we just talked about. Keep in mind, anything below value area high, I want to target the point of control, 24,670. Below that, value area low, 24,584.50. Below that, the lows of the day, lows from the prior day. And then I want to focus on the ABC targets to the downside that we talked about over here on the 4-hour time frame. Keep in mind, with Nvidia earnings out, we see Nvidia rocketing to the moon. If Nvidia ends up coming back down after the initial burst up, that could be problematic for the market. However, if Nvidia can continue to rally up, then maybe we'll be able to hit some of those upside targets. Now, if you guys like to trade micro futures and you trade with prop firms, you want to make sure to watch this next video right here.